Go.
I power nap every single day, and I think you should too. A lot of parts of your life could change in a positive direction. Positive aspects of your life could change if you started power napping.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's super beneficial. I've done a lot of research on it. Like I said, I power nap every single day, so that's where my credibility comes from. And so today I'm going to be explaining those reasons and giving you a little pep talk on power napping. Alright, so my pep talk isn't exactly a pep talk, but it is an acronym. So that stands for the physical, the emotional, and the psychological benefits of power napping. So I'm going to be starting today with physical. Alright, like I said, there are a lot of things that could change if you started power napping. We don't usually think of napping as a physical thing, but we think of it as more of a brain thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But though your brain produces hormones and chemicals, right? And so those hormones and chemicals can affect your body in a physical way. Power napping is known to reduce stress. Reducing stress in turn will reduce your risk for cardiovascular disease. And yeah, high stress can cause heart disease.
Keep going.
There's actually a study done, and it was with about 24,000 people over a course of 6 years, and it was showed that about 40% that took a regular nap were at lower risk for heart disease. That study was done by Upon in 2018. And so I'm going to talk about other things, like the stigma behind napping. Napping is generally stigmatized to be more of an elderly person thing, or a young person thing. But let's look at it. Napping reduces stress, right? Napping should be for the highly stressed people. Want to know what the American Psychological Association says right now? That Gen Z and millennials, so that's ages 18 to 47, are the highest stressed population in this current moment. So wouldn't these middle-aged people be better off napping? We need to get rid of that stigma and help people get healthier. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is the other physical aspect. So a nap, according to Bruce 2018, is something that is more evolutionary, so a midday afternoon nap. So between 1 to 3 p.m., our body expresses large amounts of the hormone melatonin, and our body temperature lowers. So this is a signal to start napping. This is what happens when we go to sleep. So the next acronym is E, which stands for emotional. So I'm just going to start about college is really hard. It's a lot of stress. We have to worry about paying rent, paying tuition. We have to worry about our classes. We have to worry about our job. It's just a lot of things at once. And people, probably know that college is one of the most stressful times of your life. But there was actually a study done by Rawson in 2007 that indicate that taking an effective coping strategy, it literally says the result is an effective coping strategy for college students is napping. The subjects in both nap-taking groups had higher cognitive scores and lower stress levels. So that's super awesome that we can flock towards this. Also, napping can help emotional regulation. So what emotional regulation is it is our response towards normal day-to-day events. So if you're under a high stress event, if you have high emotional regulation, you're going to be able to handle that with a more socially acceptable attitude. So people who are sleep deprived will have low emotional regulation, which means they're going to be more prone to outbursts and other things like that. The last thing I have for under emotional is that naps boost creativity. So your right hemisphere is where your creative processes happen. Under studies, they saw that when a person was napping or after a nap, that right hemisphere was more active, making the person more creative. Also, the signaling between the left and right hemisphere, the left is for your thinking more technical processes. It increases the crosstalk between those two hemispheres. So this means that if you have more crosstalk, you're going to be able to handle these critical problems in better ways. So the ones that have creative and automatic, more technical processing. So I'd like to share a story on this that happened to me. One time in my high school history class, I was really tired. It was one of those days, like I said, 2:30 p.m., where my brain was just wanting to go to bed, and all of a sudden I fell asleep, and I didn't realize I fell asleep until I woke up. I have no idea how long I was out or anything. But right after that, we were solving these critical thinking problems, and I was able to, with ease, solve those critical thinking problems just with that very short nap. So that was probably the best power nap and most effective power nap I've ever had. All right, the last P I have is psychological. So naps are proven to increase alertness, memory, concentration, and decision making. I've talked to a lot of people about napping, and the first thing they say is that is completely wrong. When I wake up, I feel groggy, I feel tired, and my brain is just dead. Well, I'm going to tell you that that is true, but that's because you're napping wrong, okay? So a power nap is supposed to be between 15 and 30 minutes. That's when they saw was the most effective time. Any longer than that ruined your alertness, and it made you feel very groggy, like a lot of people report. I had a lot of my peers say that. I talked to family members, other things like that. A short power nap will keep you in a stage that you don't go into these deep REM cycles, and when you break those deep REM cycles, you start getting tired. That's called sleep inertia, and that's what I was talking about. Alright, so, in conclusion, I would say, like I said, you should nap more. And that you should remember my pep talk and hopefully do your mind and body a favor and consider doing a short power nap a day. Like I said, it can benefit you in physical, emotional, and psychological ways.